ahead of you? How many people are going to get promoted before you if nothing else changes? All right, team, today we're going to talk about the trend report. And I know that when I discovered it, when I was a young specialist, and I say young, of course I was a little older at the time because of my broken service. But when I discovered what this was, it was like knowledge in my kit bag, and it gave me something that I could look forward to and something that I could quantify in order to be able to kind of project when I could get promoted to the rank of sergeant and really to staff sergeant, because at the time my MOS was a star MOS, so picking up sergeant was kind of automatic after I got promotable. But a lot of people don't know what the trend report is. And so we're going to look at it. I'm going to throw a screenshot up here in just a second, and then also kind of tie that back in with the qualification scores for promotion for the month of September, as well as the projections for promotion to the ranks of sergeant all the way to sergeant major. So screenshot coming up here in just a second of the trend report, and what we're going to do is I'm going to leave this up, and this is page 1, and we're going to look right at the 11 Bravo, just because it's the number 1 up there and always has a soft place in my heart. So this was data as of the 1st of August, as it says. We can read that up at the top. And then it lists every single MOS in the Army. This thing is pretty large, so you can find your MOS and find the data that's going to relate to you. And the reason why this is important is because it tells you how many people are ahead of you, how many people are going to get promoted before you if nothing else changes. So this can be kind of life-changing. So as we go back to the trend report, again, 11 Bravo to the rank of sergeant is that very first line. And it breaks it down on the top between, this is everybody who's promotable, and within the range of points from 15 to 49, as we can see, there's nobody. With 50 to 99 points, there are 2. 100 to 149, there's 46, all the way through to 798, right? So you can find out right now, if you looked at your PPW, whether it's official or unofficial, you can see where you stand right now amongst everybody who's promotable. That's the only people on this list are people who are promotable. Specialist promotables, or corporals now, right? And sergeant promotables. That's the only people that's on this list. So if you knew that you had 2 points, then you would go to the 300 to 349, and then you would know that since there's 132 promotables in that range, that you are one of those 132, which means ultimately that there's everybody else who's in that bracket above you, and then in the further brackets, then they're going to get promoted ahead of you, right? Does that make sense? So if you only had 100 points, then you would know that you'd look down to between the 100 to 149, and you're in that bracket of 46. So as we moved further down on the scale up on the top, after the 750 to 798, we see how many people are on the list. Total is 1,518 corporals in the United States Army and or specialist promotables, and that the average number of points is 278, and that the number of promotions has been 1647, and that the average primary zone cutoff score has been 332, and the average for the secondary zone has been 337. So there's a lot of 11 Bravos, a big MOS, and that's why promotion points are a little bit lower. So if you have anything above 278, which as you can see is quite a few of these folks, odds are you're going to get promoted, especially if you have over the average of 332, and if you're in the primary zone, or 337 in the secondary zone. So again, when I discovered this, especially as a sergeant, and my points were in the high 700s at the time to get promoted to the rank of staff sergeant, and I found this sheet, and I was like, oh my gosh, because 798, it seems like it's an impossibility to get to. But all I had to do, at the time I probably had 500 points when I was promotable, and I looked at this trend report, and I saw the people ahead of me, but I was like, you know what, all I need to do right now is do what I can to get into that next bracket. So move from 550 to 600 points. Does that make sense? Like, that much you can control, looking at your PT score, looking at your weapons qualification, and some self-education, right? And taking that DLAT and everything else. Do what you can on your end just to get into that next bracket, especially if you have a MOS where maybe the points are a little bit higher. Like just looking down on this list, if you look down at the 12 Papas, you know, if you're a sergeant promotable, man, you got to have some high stinking points. So it can be intimidating. But again, if you just try to get into that next bracket and then do what you can to get in that next bracket, you can kind of forecast when you should be able to get promoted. So as we bounce this back over to the cutoff scores for, and I'll put a screenshot of this because you're not going to be able to read that, from the month of September, you know, looking at, again, we'll just go back as an example to 11 Bravo. You can find, I'll leave a link down in the description below for where to find the trend report on enlisted promotions information link. But as we look at the cutoff scores for 11 Bravo to the rank of sergeant, we see that there is 358 primary zone and 361 for the secondary zone. And as I go back and I look, you know, that's kind of above average. So that tells me that the Army is slowing promotions down. It is the end of the fiscal year, and I would imagine by November time those points will go back down. And to the rank of staff sergeant for 11 Bravo, again, we see that they have raised up a little bit to 460 on either side. And as we look back over on the trend report, we see it was 383. So again, those points are a little bit higher than normal, which means a little bit less people will get promoted this month and potentially next month. And then I would expect that come November, December, those points will drop back down. And then we can look over on the trend report and we see that the eligibles on the list for the rank of sergeant for the month of September was about 1,500. And as I go back and I look at the trend report, we see that there's 1,518. So we can see that all this data is correlating with one another. So now you can kind of build some trends. So now if you go back and you look at previous cutoff scores, you really don't have to do that. All you have to do, again, is look at that trend report because it's rolling up everything that you need to know. So it's kind of, I think it's pretty outstanding knowledge for me when I found it, and I hope it is for you. The next one that we have is the projections for promotion to the rank of sergeant to sergeant major. And again, we'll just look at the 11 Bravo, and we see that we're projecting 886 promotions to the rank of sergeant, 508 promotions to the rank of staff sergeant, 188 to sergeant first class, and then it was NA for master sergeant and sergeant major. And so the reason why you have some NAs, again, it's just for the first quarter. You can go back and look at these for each quarter within the fiscal year. And again, this will kind of give you some projection looking forward for the quarter, right? How many does the Army expect to promote in 3 months' time? They expected to promote almost 900 people to the rank of sergeant in 3 months. So you could kind of look at their projections for second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, things of this nature. And again, that can kind of help you build a trend for what's going to happen. And if you are a junior enlisted soldier, if you're a junior non-commissioned officer, this is hands down some great money in the bank for you to be able to use for yourself. And if you are a leader, to sit down with your soldiers' PPWs and go over what they need to do in order to continue to excel and promote and do all the things that they are coming in the Army to try to do, right? So we'll probably do another video for senior enlisted promotions and my experience. But I hope that this one was some good value added to your kit bag. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about the trend report, make sure you drop them down below. Any other comments, man, do that as well. I hope that you share this out with a friend or battle buddy who could use this information. Maybe they are struggling, maybe they're feeling down, maybe they feel like they're never going to get promoted. And if you look again, man, you don't have to try to shoot for the moon. You just need to try to get into that next bracket. Because the fewer people there are ahead of you, even if your promotion points are 798 right now, all you need to do is just continue to work to get into that next bracket. Because at some point in time, if you look at those projections, they're going to promote your MOS, which means you don't need to get 798. All you need to do is try to do everything you can to get in that top bracket where you have peers. And then if they decide to promote just a handful, you know that you're in that bracket, and you know that when those points drop a little bit, you are going to get picked up. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps out. Leave some comments down below, team. We'll continue to keep this conversation rolling. This question about the trend report came from you, the subscribers. So if you have some other conversations we need to have, some other things we need to look at, again, make sure you drop those down below, and we'll add this into the kit bag and into the conversation. Team, I appreciate all you guys, man. You stay out there, man. You keep grinding and have a stinking good time, man. And until then, you stay stoked.